Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to Business Innovators Radio. This is your host, Constant Taylor. Today, we have a very special guest on the show, and they're going to share some very exciting information with us. So, if you're looking to increase your personal and professional effectiveness, then you've come to the right place. Our special guest today is Troy Hazard. Troy has been speaking professionally for over 20 years, and the content that Troy primarily speaks on is business purpose, future-proofing your business, relationship marketing, and he also does customized speaking topics based on the company's needs. Troy has spoken both nationally and internationally, including over 26 countries, and he's based out of Pompano Beach, Florida. Troy's latest book is called Future Proofing Your Business, which is an Amazon bestseller. Troy, that's quite an impressive resume. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me today.
Hey, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you. Now, I'd like to kick off the show by asking you if you can tell the listeners a little bit about your business and how you help companies become more successful and more effective.
That's a good question. So, more recently, I've been spending time as a consultant and as a board member to companies to help them develop their business to future-proof them and make sure they're more resilient for the future. But I suppose that the reason I'm able to do that is that I've had 12 different companies over the last 25 years in a range of different businesses, from real estate to technology to advertising and marketing, in franchising, and there've been businesses that we've bought, built and sold for a purpose because we've identified that they had an opportunity they could do with a bit more of a skill set applied to them to have them realize their full potential. And so we acquired them to develop them with a view that we were, in fact, going to sell them and move on to the next game. So essentially, we've probably been trading businesses for 25 years. And that experience has helped me help other companies now as a professional speaker, an author, television host, and a consultant and board member, to be able to say, look, here's what we've learned from the businesses we've worked with and the ones we've consulted with, and these are the things you might apply to the current circumstance you're dealing with right now in your company. Okay,
so what does your perfect prospective customer look like?
Yeah, I don't know that I've got a customer anymore. I have a number of speaking bureaus that work with me, that book me for engagements, and they pretty much do the work for me on my behalf in that respect, and I kind of turn up and have a chance to mingle with the clients and their participants and do the things I love to do. And the other business interests I have, I'm more of an investor and a board member, so I don't actually really have a day-to-day job, so to speak. It's more of a role of mentoring and encouraging the senior leadership to develop their relationships with our customers as we go. So if I had a direct customer, I'm not sure what that would be. It'd probably be my wife. I've got to keep her happy.
Excellent reply. So then with the board members and the high-level executives that you do encourage, in what ways do you help them become more effective?
I think one of the key things I can pass on to them is 25 years of mistakes. I think what happens in business leadership is that you tend to rise to your level of competency. You go through the ranks, you become a good employee. As a good employee, you become a good manager, then you become a good middle manager, and then you become a good senior leader, and then all of a sudden you become part of the C-suite or the executive suite of a company. And with every move up those ranks, you tend to move to the next level of your competency, where you know you've stretched yourself, you feel you've worked for it, you feel you deserve the position. But when you get into the position, all of a sudden it's much bigger than you expected, and now you're swimming a bit faster than you think you can keep up with. So in my position, in the board positions I hold, I have a portfolio as part of that board position that looks after or has an eye over some of the elements of the business. And as a result, I tend to coach the leadership team of those different departments to give them, I suppose, some of the experiences that I've had over the years as to what I did wrong as a leader, and what I've learned what makes a good character of a good leader, and try and get them to accelerate that learning curve as they step into those new roles. So it's more of a experiential mentoring position to see these guys and girls really find their full potential and feel more comfortable about the positions they've taken on board, because in lots of instances they find themselves in these C-suite positions and they don't want to tell anybody, but they're frightened.
Right.
They're going, okay, now that I'm here in the big seat, what happens now?
Right.
And so part of my role is to try and make them feel comfortable in their own skin and feel comfortable about the decisions they're making, because they need to make decisions, and whether they're right or wrong, they still need to act on things. And so I'm very on the front foot with them, saying, look, just have a go. Feel confident in yourself. You've worked your way to this spot. We put you in this position for a reason. Show us what you got. I mean, stretch your legs a little bit here. And that's pretty much most of my role.
Okay. Have you had a situation in which you were working with someone who was thinking fast and were able to turn that around and help them get on the right track and become successful?
Yeah, look, there's probably been a bit of both. There's been some of that where we've got them back on track, and other places where we've not been able to, and as a result had to find them a new career or a new position within the business because they found themselves overwhelmed with what they were charged with. I think people tend to show their true colours under pressure. And a good friend of mine says that stress does not create character; it reveals. It
reveals. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and as such, when they're put under stress and pressure, you quickly find out what you need to address in their development, and what you maybe can't address because they are maybe never going to develop through it. And so, as a result, from a board member's perspective, where you're charged with influence, not execution, you're charged with encouragement and not executive engagement. Your job is to more try and lead them towards the light, and if they can't see the light, then it's lead them towards another position or potentially a new career.
Right. If they can't see the light, turn out the lights. And you're wasting electricity here, buddy.
Potentially.
Yeah. So let's talk about future-proofing your business. I love the title of the book, and I can see just by the title how it could be a bestseller. What does that contain, and how does that help organizations that are looking toward the future?
Look, the simplicity of the book is, I sat down one day and thought, well, what's made all of our businesses resilient, and what has carried us through good days and bad days? And the simple philosophy that came from that was that we learnt from the past, we applied it to the present to protect ourselves for the future. And what I think we see in business a lot is that we forget stuff. And here's a classic example. We had so many people in 2008 standing around in business wondering what happened. When if you had have actually remembered what happened in various economic shifts for the last 30 years, you wouldn't have been so surprised. And look, my personal example is I went through a recession in Australia, where I used to live, in 1987, and that cost us $250,000 because I didn't see it coming. I was new in business. I just started out. We made a few mistakes and got crunched. In 1996, we got caught with the Asian financial crisis with some of our clients, and that mistake cost me $1 million. In 2001, coming into the tech wreck, which was another global crisis, we saw the signs for that. We were interested in technology, but chose to sit back and wait until the bubble burst and invested in technology after it burst in 2001, and in fact did quite well out of that. And then coming into 2008, it was obvious that the signs were there again. You can't possibly think your house is worth twice as much as it was 6 months ago. Your stock can't be worth 3 times as it was 6 weeks ago. And so in 2006, we started to divest. In 2007, we were pretty much out of the market. We waited in 2008 with, sitting on our hands a little bit. And then when everything came unstuck, we started to look for opportunities to move back into the market. And it's only really just been in the last few years that we've got back into a few investments that we think are good, resilient businesses for the future. So future-proofing your business is all about understanding those cycles. Learn from the past. You've been through it before. know what to do to correct it, and know that it will happen again. And it will. I mean, we'll see a correction somewhere in the next 36 months for sure. And those that have learned from 2008 will be ready for it. Those that haven't will be sitting around again saying, what happened?
Mm-hmm. Well, I am certainly going to go out and purchase the book sometime between now and Saturday. Probably on Saturday I'm going to purchase the book, because that's definitely something that I can use. I've actually seen the cycles coming, and even seeing them coming, my timing was just not quite right. So that's something I need to adjust myself. So
it's challenging. Challenging.
Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of relationship marketing, how do you help your clients in that area?
Yeah, I think what's happened in the last 10 years is we've seen a big shift. The internet has certainly changed the way we relate with our customer base, and I think what happened is we came into the late 90s. Internet was just really becoming a part of people's daily vocabulary. And it became more popular, and we had these aspects of social media and the like. Everyone lent far towards the digital aspect of relationships and left behind the shake hands, kiss babies, and the energetic aspects of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a result, what we saw was this big surge towards digital, surge towards social media. It's the new wave. It's the new light. That's the way of the future. And we forgot about some of the things that made our companies great for the last 30 years. And so my big message is this, that social media is a very, very important part of our future, but it's not the future. It's like radio was in the 20s, television in the 40s and 50s, color television in the 60s. We saw all these things emerge over the last, almost 100 years now. And with every one of them, everyone's gone, this is the way of the future. And every single time, something else comes up. There'll be something else that comes along that's more important and more significant or has a bigger impact than social media sometime in the next 5, 10 years. I don't know what that is. I'm not a futurist like that. But what I do know is that we shouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater. We've got to find a mix. If we're going to have a great relationship with our customer base, we have to find a mix between the energetic and the technology aspects of that relationship. It's where energy meets technology. That's where we have an opportunity to create significant influence over those we choose to serve as customers in the next 10, 20, 35 years.
I'm sure that you probably noticed, and this is based on what you just said, is that with technologies and any new movements, there's typically an overdoing it in that area, and then there's an overcorrection when it actually comes back.
Well, there is, I think, and it's just because everyone runs towards the bright, shiny object. So many people in business are looking for that thing that's going to fix it, that one gem that's going to change their life and make it easy. The reality is what they seek is not external. It's 9 times out of 10, the thing that's going to fix your business is introspective. It's the way you look at your business as a leader. It's the way you manage it as a leader. It's the way you look and protect yourself for the future. It's not the bright, shiny object that's outside of the environment you can influence. The bright, shiny objects certainly have an impact on what we do and how we manage our businesses and our future. But the reality is it always comes back to who's running the show. Mm-hmm. And with each and every good day or bad day that we've had in business in 25 years, when I look back over that cycle and map it, it's always been a decision that ultimately I have made or a position that ultimately I have influenced. So at the end of the day, that's an introspective view. It's not about whether I need to do more time on Facebook or Twitter. It's about whether I need to spend more time with an individual in my business or an individual customer within my business if I'm going to influence my future.
Okay, excellent insight. Now, with the last 60 seconds that we have here, can you give the listener a theme or message that you would like to leave them with, so that if they don't get anything else out of this interview, this is what I would like to leave them with?
So if you are an owner or a manager, whether you work for somebody or work for yourself, find your personal vision first. Understand what you want to be when you grow up. where you're going, what you want to achieve in life, what you'd like to represent in life, and then match your business journey to that. Whether it's a business plan, a career path, whatever, match your business or career path to your personal path first, because then that easily tells you who you need to influence around you to achieve your business or career goals to ultimately help you achieve your personal goals.
Excellent insight. If the individual's listeners would like to contact your organization or learn more about how you could possibly help their business, what's the best way for them to contact your organization?
Easy, TroyHazard.com. I'm the easiest guy in the world to find.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Troy, thank you so much for coming on the show. That was outstanding, insightful information that you provided with the listeners. I appreciate it, and I know that they appreciate it as well.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.